Joanna Chadwick of the Wichita Eagle and VarsityKansas.com. And while it was a wet and cold night out there, it was a pretty big night for several teams in the area. Conway Springs remains unbeaten. They beat previously unbeaten Trinity. They are now 6-0 and are leading in the Central Plains League race. Luke Fisher for Conway Springs had 266 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns, while Trinity's Tyler Burns had 212 rushing yards in the 42-21 loss. Derby beat Salina South 45-14. Salina South was ranked second in Class 5A, but Curtis Witten with 211 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, while Darion Jackson had an 88-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Mays beats Newton. Wow, what an incredible game this one turned out to be. It was overtime, and Connor Lungwitz is facing a 4th and 25. They win that 42-41 in overtime. Now, let me just point out that Mays has lost in overtime to Hutch by 3, and they lost when they went for a 2-point conversion to Salina Central. They lost there by 1 point. Connor Lungwitz, 28 of 48 for 430 passing yards. He also had 5 touchdown passes. Collegiate gets a 38-34 win over Wellington, and Jacquees Williams 4 touchdowns, 214 rushing yards, while Wellington's quarterback Trevor Nance threw for 272 yards. Mays South, they're trailing that game heading into the 4th. They go to Oklahoma and they win 28-25. Rose Hill, 27-26 over Augusta. It comes down to a blocked PAT in overtime. What an incredible finish. Heights rebounds here. They needed this. West, however, has now lost 3 straight. 31-7 Heights gets the win. They had all 3 of their backs and their quarterback each score a touchdown. So that's a good win, the kind that Heights kind of needs to rejuvenate itself a little bit. Carroll does take the City League title with a 58-8 win tonight. And Denzel Goolsby, 3 touchdowns, 134 rushing yards. While Colton Howell, he had a passing touchdown and 2 rushing yards. His numbers were not gaudy, but he got 3 touchdowns. Capon beats North 46-0. Brock Monty with 4 touchdowns. Alexander Norris had 2. Bueller wins 60-7 tonight. Dylan England with 4 touchdowns. Andover Central beats Campus, and these numbers are pretty interesting. Andover Central wins 49-12. Daraja Parnell with 4 touchdowns for Andover Central. Campus's John Becker throws for 308 yards, completing 30 of 61 passes. Garden Plain had 7 touchdowns in its 49-0 win over Bluestem, scored by 7 players. Heston wins 49-39 over Pratt, and Grant Raleigh 5 touchdowns. He had 125 rushing yards, 208 passing. Thanks so much for watching the 2-Minute Drill. We'll see you next week.